Hey everyone, and welcome to Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. My name is Jessica Fuentes, and I am a certified professional coach. I will be here every Saturday talking about transformation. How to transform those difficulties you encounter throughout your life into lessons. How can you transform that victim mindset into one of opportunity and growth? If you want to transform your life, the key is to learn and realize that you have everything you need within yourself. If you are looking for a safe place to find inspiration, motivation, and the tools to become empowered, then this is the podcast to listen to. This podcast is brought to you by my website, Empowered-SelfLove.com. Thank you for joining me every Saturday, and I want to thank you all for listening every week. Thank you for your support and for making Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast, part of your Saturday routine. I am extremely thankful and grateful for your warm welcome. My hope is to bring you the tools that enriches your life and that helps you become more empowered. So thank you for sharing with your friends and family, and let's continue to spread the knowledge and the inspiration. In this episode, I will be talking about genuine joy versus fake positivity, knowing the difference. Hey there, happy Saturday! I wish that you're feeling well, full of energy, and ready for today's episode. I welcome you to another episode of Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. I am your host, Jessica Fuentes, and today I want to address something. I want to address the idea that there is a lot of fake positivity or even toxic positivity out there. For some people, the topics I have covered here in this podcast are toxic positivity, but I have to disagree, particularly because everything that I have discussed in my podcasts have been experiences that I have lived or seen people close to me live and experience themselves. My journey has been the greatest lesson of self-love and empowerment. And this is the best thing I have ever learned. And as Brené Brown wisely said, owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we'll ever do. And this resonates deeply with my personal experiences. One thing is to pretend to always be happy when you feel like shit, and another thing is to be optimistic regardless of the shitty emotions or the shitty moments that life throws at you. In my journey of self-love, I suffered a lot. But I suffered because I was really not loving myself enough. And I learned that I needed to give myself the importance I was always giving to everybody else. We are taught that to love others, we need to sacrifice. And yes, that is true. But sometimes we need to sacrifice certain things because we love and we support the people in our lives, but never to the point that everyone is more important than yourself. Not to the point in which you tolerate disrespect, abuse, or diminishment. Love has nothing to do with suffering. And I'm not bringing out this topic because someone said that I was being fake or anything like that. No. I am bringing it up because it is a reality. There is a lot of fake positivity out there. People pretending to be happy, but deeply, they are not. And that is the fake positivity that I want to address today. Why pretend? Why live our lives as if it was an act? If you feel sad, feel the emotion. You're human. You deserve to feel your emotions. They show up to give you information, to remind you of your sensitivity, of your humanity. They show up to teach you lessons. Lessons that sometimes you don't get to understand up until later on. And I am not in favor of always being positive and cheerful because you know what? That is BS. That is not real. However, you can lead a life feeling genuinely joyful regardless of the situations that life presents to you, regardless of heartaches, regardless of other people's behaviors. Sometimes people say things that offend you because they lack the understanding that you were able to acquire. Sometimes people advise you not to pursue a certain goal because they are projecting their own insecurities upon you, because they don't feel like those goals are even possible for them. Some people prefer to lead their lives with fear of what others will think, fear of the rejection of others, fear of being alone, fear that they won't be loved as much as they wish. And that kind of life only leads to feeling empty and dependable of others. Because if others don't love you or don't accept you or they don't behave a certain way, you are basically handing over your freedom and even your opportunity to be happy. You're handing it to them. That is the real fake life. You cannot be happy if you're waiting for others to show you love or to show you respect or to show that they care or to act a certain way. Because you cannot control other people's behavior or perception of things. Everyone, and I can even include myself, projects themselves when they say anything that limits you. They can even mean the best, but they can destroy relationships with good intentions underneath. And that is sad, that someone allows the opinion of others to intervene with their own happiness and their own process. Listen, I have made many mistakes in my life, but I have learned from them and I am grateful for them also. I got to sit down with myself and all of those mistakes, and I really had a chat in search of understanding. Actually, it was not just one chat with me, myself, and my mistakes. I searched for that understanding for years, and I went from feeling depressed to the point that I didn't care to realizing that life can be beautiful regardless of sad moments, regardless of difficult situations, regardless of abuse, of betrayal, of the disdain of the people I loved. Because what others do or don't do, and what others give or don't give, is a decision made by them. It has nothing to do with your worthiness, with your value, with who you are. It actually has to do with who they are and their own deficiencies and their own insecurities. So, what is the real definition of genuine joy? Genuine joy is a deep, enduring sense of happiness and contentment that arises from within. It is characterized by an authentic appreciation of life, embracing both its challenges and the triumphs. Genuine joy is not dependent on external circumstances or pleasures, but it is rooted in self-awareness, gratitude, and a connection to one's true self. It allows for the full experience of emotions, acknowledging and learning from them, and then that leads to meaningful and authentic relationships with others. So you can make the decision today that you are going to lead a life of joy. You can have an illness and still decide to live a joyful life. Your child can have a condition that is not curable and you can still feel joy and focus on the blessings behind that condition. Not everything has to be bad, as it may appear. Oftentimes, difficult things happen to people not because they deserve to be unhappy, but because they have the capacity to appreciate blessings from another level. When someone tries to belittle you, just smile because you can immediately see their limitations projected upon you. And to be honest, I feel sorry for people that behave like this because they can see past the problems or the pain. There is beauty and even peace behind the difficulty. So, what I'm saying today is not toxic positivity. You know what toxic positivity is? Well, by definition, it is the act of forcing optimism, of ignoring negative emotions and presenting a falsely cheerful attitude. So, in short, it is to pretend to be euphorically happy, but in reality, you feel sad, empty, and even depressed. I know because I used to pretend that my life was okay, but deep inside, I was devastated. And it is not worth to live your life like that. Healing gave me the superpower to see past the difficulties and search for lessons and opportunities rather than focusing on the pain and the hurt. But as I have expressed since the beginning of this podcast journey, healing takes time and it is a personal journey. So let me highlight for you the two differences between genuine joy and fake positivity. Genuine joy comes from within and it is sustainable and a long-lasting state. It embraces a full range of emotions, including the bad ones, the good ones, and acknowledging all of the challenges. It leads to deeper connections with others because of the authenticity behind being joyful, behind being yourself. Now, fake positivity oftentimes is like wearing a mask, a defense mechanism to avoid reality. It diminishes or depresses negative emotions, leading to internal conflict. It can result also in superficial relationships and lack of genuine intimacy. So, as I wrap up today's episode, my message to you today is that you should be genuine. Live the emotions that show up for you and be real. You can lead a joyful life regardless of the situations or the difficulties that are present in your life. As Steve Maraboli puts it, happiness is not the absence of problems, it's the ability to deal with them. So allow yourself to feel your emotions, let them flow, collect the information you need from them, and look for the lessons behind each event or situation experienced. I encourage you to not give the key to your happiness to anyone other than yourself, because to have that key in your power is to allow yourself to be free. If you feel that this is a message you connected with, I am very glad and happy that this will be the beginning of an extraordinary journey of transformation and empowerment for you. So remember that we have a date every Saturday. You can't miss the next episode in which I will be talking about relationship realities. Different dynamics, different stories. Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that it brought some perspective as well as hope. If there is any particular topic you would like me to discuss, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email at jessica.fuentes@empowered-selflove.com. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me there as empowered.selflove. I also encourage you to visit my webpage, empowered-selflove.com, and explore more about what coaching is all about. In the services tab, You can sign in for the free discovery session. During the discovery session, I will explain everything you need to know about coaching, the type of coaching I specialize in, and the packages I have available for you. You can find all the links on the episode's notes. Remember, if you like this content or thought of somebody that could benefit from it, please share it with your friends and family. Remember that we have a date every Saturday, and I can't wait for us to meet again. See you next week!